I felt tremendous pressure.
How much of yourself, your true self, did you put into the
Oh my
character to
god,
make
this is
him your
such a
very
good
own?
moment, mate.
When I watched the Mokori dance sequence
Mokuri.
and then
Have you guys watched City Hunter on Netflix yet? Me myself, after watching the movie, I came across this interview and I absolutely enjoyed it. But the thing is, there's no Japanese subtitles, man. Even though it's got potential to spread out, it's completely nothing, mate. So I reached out to this creator. I think her name is called Lin, so yeah, anyway, I reached out to her on Instagram to ask if it's okay to if I take this video and react to it, put in the Japanese subtitles so that more people can enjoy it. And she was like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And now I am filming, and I reckon it's only fair that I speak English as well because I don't want to see him in my comfort zone. Do you know what I mean? I just don't want to react to it in my mother tongue, which is of course Japanese. So yeah. Anyway, I think that's enough for its intro. So I'm gonna stop waffling about around here, and let's dive into the interview, shall we?
hi,
Nice to meet
Ryohei.
you. Nice to meet you.
Suzuki-san, konnichiwa.
Yes. Well, you can call me Liu Hui.
Oh, Ryohei,
Ah,
okay.
Yeah.
that's lovely. I think that's a nice icebreaker, isn't it?
So, Ryohei, growing up, how big of a fan were you of City Hunter? And what do you remember from, reading the manga or watching the anime?
Well, I was a huge fan, and I've lived all my life admiring him for more than 30 years.
For over 3 decades, that's the same period as my age. Wow, that's impressive, mate.
And I remember when I first fell in love with City Hunter was when I saw animation on TV, and then I started collecting comic books like this and like this, and then I started collecting every book about City Hunter, and the very first CD I bought was the soundtracks of City Hunter.
Oh, was it? Oh my god, now we just found out he's such a, like, really serious. He's such a huge fan of the City Hunter.
I've always wanted to go to Shinjuku someday to feel the vibes of City Hunter, and that became true when I was 17. And as far as I arrived in Tokyo. I went to Shinjuku, and I asked the guy who works for station, where is the message board? Because I want to write XYZ.
Oh dear. Oh dear, just love it.
But how did you react when you first got the part? When they said, you're doing this?
Yes. Well, actually, it wasn't an offer. It was more like a green light,
There we go. A green light. That's a nice expression.
because the producer knew for a long time about my passion about making a live action of City Hunter. So they went to the studios and streaming platforms, and eventually, Netflix gave their hand. So when I got the news, I imagined I'd be really happy that it's finally becoming true. But actually, the reality was I felt tremendous pressure because I never wanted to ruin the thing I love most in my life.
Yeah, of course.
There's always a possibility, and I've seen so many live action adaptation that goes disaster. You know.
So you're definitely heavily involved with it. So City Hunter had several versions, including a Korean drama and then, of course, Jackie Chan's version. So how did you make sure that your version is going to be very different from theirs?
That's a good
Yes.
question.
Our version, I believe, our version is the most authentic version of City Hunter.
There we go. You hear that? That's a good statement. He's got massive confidence in the role, which is good.
And what I mean by authentic is it is the closest to the original comic book written by the author, creator Hojo Tsukasa. And of course, as I said, I love animation version too. But animation version is it's also adaptation. Many things were changed when they adapted into animation.
Yeah,
TV.
true. Yeah.
such as costumes, and there is no drugs called angel dust, and angel dust, which is a really
That's a good point. He's corrected his pronunciation. The sound into angel dust. No, angel dust, which is good.
So we try to stick to the original manga. So I am sure that this is enjoyable for all the audience around the world.
Yes,
It is very
definitely
enjoyable. Now,
is.
Ryo Seiba is crazy charming. He is fun-loving, who doesn't take anything seriously. He's a playboy marksman. So, how much of yourself, your true self, did you put into the character to make him your very own?
Oh, that's a very interesting question because we can never imagine that, can't we?
But the funny thing is, I didn't need any effort to approach the role of Ryo Saiba because I have lived with Ryo Saiba for such a long time,
Oh my god, this is such a good moment, mate.
admire him, try to become like him. So
Try to become like
basically,
him.
I thought I knew everything about Ryo Saiba. Of course, I had to prepare for that role, like physically, and also I had to renew my driver's license to my manual license, and I had to train my, gun skill, how to handle guns and everything. But it's just outside. But inside, Ryo Saiba was always inside me. We grew up together.
Oh my god, there we go, listeners. You hear that? This is such a perfect answer, isn't it? You made me smile. I think we are smiling now, and you might be too. I think we just wanted to hear that from you, didn't we?
Now, I saw when I watched the Mokori dance sequence,
Mokori.
and then when you
Oh my god, listeners, I just like this moment. This is such a peaceful moment. You hear that, Mokori? I think we are sharing the notion of Mokori. I think the word Mokori can hit the charts in the world.
So, how many times did you break character when you were filming those sequences? I can only imagine that you go to the side and just laugh your heart out.
How many times did I break character?
Yes, just to laugh on the side and just go back and shoot again.
Sorry, if I was him, I'd probably say I don't really understand what break means. But let's see what it say.
Well, I'd love to say there are many times, but actually, I don't like break character, especially when
yeah.
I play in a comedy scene,
Yeah, of course.
because I believe the more seriously you play, the funnier it gets.
That
So
makes
I
sense.
try to play
That's a good answer,
as
mate.
seriously as possible when I do comedy scene. But the funny moments come between the shoot. When I'm waiting for the next shoot, next cut, next take, I mean. And the audience was all there, like 100 people watching me. And I'm almost naked, And I suddenly felt embarrassed. And I could not just stand there and let them watch. So, I was just talking to them. I was making them laugh with, completely naked body. That was a surreal moment.
This is his own kindness, isn't it? I think making people laugh and relaxed, it's great. And I imagine those who were surrounding Ryohei, they will be much more nervous than he was. So I think this is the soul of an actor.
But it was strange. I felt I was not feeling embarrassed or anything in that scene, and I wondered why. And then I realized that I did almost the same thing 10 years ago in the film called Hentai Kamen. It's about a superhero that has superpower when he wears women's panties and then he transforms into like a naked superhero.
Yeah, that's it.
That is the thing I did 10 years ago. So I was kind of used to it.
Oh wow,
I
yeah.
think I'm gonna have to research that movie and watch it for myself
Yeah,
now that
you
you've
should.
mentioned that.
That is pretty funny.
Wow. I mean, that was beautiful. I absolutely love it. You see his lovely English, sharing the behind the scenes, even in a second language. I think that's impressive, isn't it? And also, he was using a couple of smart vocab, which were, I think it was green lights, tremendous, gave a hand or something like that. I've always admired him since I was in my early 20s when he was playing a role in Hentai Kamen, like he said, probably 10 years ago. And especially when I was 28, that was 3 years ago, I really wanted to be like him because because of this video that he was speaking English on the red carpet. I was watching the video in bed and I was like, oh my god, this is so sick. He's really sick, mate. I really want to be able to speak English like him. So, which means he's pushed me up to the further level of my English at this moment. So, I do appreciate him. Okay, that was it. Again, thank you so much, Ling and Ryohei, for making such a nice interview. You guys are legends. And guys, if you wanted to be able to speak English like him, this is definitely a good moment. You can start it from now. Like in my case, looking back on 2021, I couldn't speak English at all. I mean, not at all. I could, but just a little bit. It's not like this. So you can see my level of English it was. And I was studying even the fundamentals at that point. But now, here I am. I'm in Canada, used to live in the UK, work in a British pub and, speaking English in front of this camera. So, which means you can do it, you can do anything, mate. All right, that's it. I think that's enough. So if you like this video, hit the like button and go to the original version of this interview and leave some nice comments. I don't take any offensive ones though, like criticizing his English, grammar, vocabulary, and pronunciation, something like that, because nobody pleased, nothing fun at all except you. And you know what? I personally call them grammar cops or sound cops or whatever. So anyway, give me your thoughts in the comment section down there, and I'll see you next time. Cheers, mate. Shh.